I knew this is a show I wanted to talk about, so I'll just knock it out of the park right now. This is a show that I like and enjoy simply by the concept of what it is. If you've watched Kikkai Sensen, Trigun, Koyosugagi, or Flip Flappers, the plausibility and versatility of this world in such a magical world shouldn't come to such a surprise to anyone if you're enjoying or watching this show, as this show is ultimately a procedurally generated cop show much like Hawaii Five-0 and Blue Bloods or NCIS, but with dumb magical commodities to flavor up the context of the show in this setting to make it seem more entertaining. In the world of Copcraft, humans and aliens are living with one another in an offshore American-esque city where everyone happens to speak Japanese because everyone speaks Japanese in anime. And the status quo is that insanity rules while humans struggle to exist alongside the nonsensical and impossible. So what about the characters? Well, there are only two characters that I actually care about.
例えばあの車30万ドルだ。このスニーカー3000ドルだ。ところが女は3ドルで楽しめる。なぜだかわかるかい？いや、俺がイケメンだが。
Well, make that 3. Oh shit, he's dead, so we're back to 2. But Detective Kei Matoba and his immigrant alien knight representative Tatamilia Exadelia have to work together to ward off the evil that could potentially kill either species because if they don't, nobody else will. What makes this show fundamentally interesting from my perspective, thus making it enjoyable, is that the show has substance by adding something in a generation of anime dominated by rampant, unchecked bad isekai adaptations. Ultimately, yes, this is a reverse isekai where characters can travel back and forth from world to world, but what makes this a wholesome news story is that the story attempts and does its best to story, with a pre-existing character relationship, real emotion, and actual states with consequences that affect the characters within the story and ripple throughout the show. Kei as a character is a cliche, however his clichéness is executed well, and despite him being the character with a rough, unkept hair, smokes with cigarettes, and enjoys day drinking because of his traumatic backstory involving a war, it's cliche, so we kinda get it until his backstory is fully realized. The character dynamic that is created bouncing off Tataralia, the noble, stoic, witty, and charitable to tsundere-like mentality, is an entertaining duo to watch while she tries to keep her prospects in a world that she barely understands, but is slowly comprehending through context clues and through her intelligence as a character. But despite me liking this anime, there is one huge problem with it. The animation is terrible when it comes to fight sequences, with the anime at times showing still images. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but it seems like the intern messed up and forgot to splice up the clips into Adobe Premiere or something like that. But it's just really bad to look at. When the anime first began, the fight sequences were presented and were all animated, but now mainly in episodes 3 and 4, there are still images, which is bad for my eyeballs to watch. It's not Handshakers bad or the bad CGI from Berserk 2016 and the following season, it's just bad. And it's the only thing the show has as a fault, which could otherly make it uninteresting or unimmersive. Other than that, Copcraft will most likely end up as an underappreciated, under-the-radar show simply for the genre it is, against the dumbest doornails isekai genre that has stupid and retarded main characters that do things and survive because they're the main character. At least this show attempts to have substance, and at least it attempts to story and go places with its narrative, instead of traveling around aimlessly in a world that's barely realized, very much like the anime that we all know I love to hate, Arifuta, aka Commonplace to World's Strongest, which of course is garbage in a series that we have all seen for the 500th time. Overall, Copcraft gets a 7.5 out of 10. Easy to understand story, enjoyable characters, decent music, but sometimes bad animation.